Just a reminder again to you about the evaluation forms have to be filled and given because it's important. Now, I think the next speaker will be me. And a topic which really was good for the woman, also good for the man, regardless of who the speaker is. So I think the topic will be obesity is a major risk factor. And you will hear something new, which you haven't probably heard before, or maybe just heard about it. When I will talk about obesity, there's some new concept which we are proud to be the first maybe in the nation or maybe around the world start talking about obesity around the heart. And we have shown data which is very, very good to that. Now, all right, let me see here. Say, as the title say, obesity, visceral and or epicardial, means around the heart, even without comorbidity is a disease. So, okay, Ryan, I think I need your help here, these things, okay. Now, pretest question. All right, how many calories are in a venti Starbucks coffee frappuccino? 120, 220, 380? So who's for 380? That's your guy. So and imagine all what you need a day, about 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories, just get 3 Starbucks and we'll be okay. Now, what is the prevalence of overweight and obesity in the US? Overweight, that means people who had BMI 25 to 30 and above 30 is already obese. 20 million, 50 million, 80 million, over 100 million. Over 100 million. Can you believe we are the fattest nation on the earth? It's true. Okay. So now globally is over 1 billion obese people. That is really a major problem. In the past, it's not cosmetic. As you go today, you will find that it's even worse than a real disease. It is a bad thing. How is the best way to assess the obesity? Just the BMI out of the 3, or the waist circumference, or the waist to hip ratio? Let me just tell you, the BMI that was most of the doctors using in the post because nobody's taking the time to go about the waist and ethics and all that. But really, the best way to assess obesity, having a tape measurement around your waist, but don't suck it in while you're measuring it. So, and over 40 inches for a male or 35 inches for a female. That's bad. Now, even the new guideline cut that down even further down. So obesity is a problem, and waist measurement is a good, accurate way to judge yourself. Now, as far perivascular and epicardial, that means the fat around the vessels and around the heart. This is really very increased in obese subjects, and is a major problem. And we were proud to say first in the nation, we are around there to describe some associated structural and functional abnormalities. That means there was already change in the carotid intima thickness, changes in the pulse wave, changes in the heart muscle thickness, and we reported that as early as 2011. Now they start talking about now. So epicardial fat around the heart, even if you are not fat, belly fat. So that is a problem. Now here, see, genetic, I told you earlier today, genetic loads the gun, but the environment, what pulls the trigger. The environment, look around that, or what you see in the store and so forth, that is the problem. The gene will be changed by this environment and become villains. Now, I don't know, having some problem, I can understand here. Obesity, even without comorbidity. What are comorbidity? It means disease, which is very common, associated with obese people. They have high blood pressure, they have high blood sugar, they have high cholesterol. Even if you don't have any of this, just obesity by itself. And we also were supposed to show that, have already evidence of structural changes around there's a carotid, around your heart. So it is a problem. So if you go here home, remember that this is a major issue. And now I would like just in the interest of time to go quickly and get few things. Obese subject with excess epicardial fat has more cardiovascular structure. So if you have both in your belly and around the heart, that's even worse than just one of them. Now, take home message in case we don't get to finish all the thing in time interest. Early therapy for cardiovascular structure and functional abnormality could drastically reduce cardiovascular stroke morbid event. So if we start early addressing that, early detection to find out the test, which can show that you have already changed in your carotid, change in your pulse wave analysis, change around your heart. Even before you're sick, you don't have to be sick. As a matter of fact, about 10 years ago, when we introduced this program here in Sarasota about early detection, we got people who just thought they have nothing. And it was screened till now 2,500 of these. Guess what? Half of them have already changes, problem related to structure. They will not think they don't have anything. Even we got some of them scan around the heart and showed calcium already. So don't wait till you're sick to see a doctor. See him early for early detection. That's very, very important. Now, as I said already, even without comorbidity is a disease, and epicardial fat is a problem. You probably, by learning that, you probably be ahead of many around the country to know that. Now, early identification is very important and is a disease associated with very significant cardiovascular changes. It is time that you let cardiovascular preventionists, somebody who prevents the disease, okay, give your heart the attention it needs. You don't need interventionists to get your BCI and cardiac cath. You need to do that before you have to require this particular service. Now, I would like just to give you physician diagnosis of overweight. I mentioned that yesterday. If the doctor talk to his patient and tell him, don't be afraid to tell him don't tell him you're fat. You have to be nice, tell it in a nice way that this is a problem. And when you tell that, studies have shown that the patient listen and really lose weight. And guess what? If you lose 7% of your weight, you already achieve most of the good effects we wanted to see, like you're losing your diabetes, you're losing your high blood pressure. It's a lot of good things. You don't have to be like you used to be in high school days. Okay, so intensive lifestyle intervention can achieve up to 7% weight loss, prevention of diabetes, and improvement in cardiovascular risk factor if participants successfully reduce calorie consumption and engage in moderate physical activity, like the American Heart says, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Make it the more the better. As a matter of fact, another message to take home. Exercise is your best pill. Exercise is your best pill. Now, the goals for managing obesity is to prevent or delay diabetes. The reason why seeing too much diabetes these days, because a lot of obesity on them. Back in 94 or in the early 90s, when the people were still lean and mean, there was not much diabetes. Now, when they become obese, diabetes going up. They go hand in hand. So now, medical management now must shift its emphasis from treatment of advanced disease to early prevention of disease progression. That's what we really need to do. And as said, the motto of our International Society of Cardiovascular Disease Prevention, 1 ounce of early cardiovascular or stroke prevention is better than pounds of late cure. Time to focus in early cardiovascular disease prevention. So early therapy is very important. Early detect to protect. Now here I go. Now some forget about all the home take-home message. Now would say, is this association or a cause? Who goes for association or who goes for a cause? What do you think now? Obesity, by raise of hand. Is obesity as a cause for cardiovascular problem or just association? Cause again. It's causing the cardiovascular problem. It is a cause, okay? Now, talking about the fat, you hear many times people talk about white fat and brown fat. And so anyway, white fat is under the skin, brown fat is in your belly, and inhomogeneous, that was around your heart. So there's different three types of fat. And this inhomogeneous fat, that is even worse than the brown fat, which in your belly. Okay, and that is picture to show that, and some of that, we can see that in CT about that. So I don't want just interest time. Cardiovascular disease is a major killer, and obesity is one of the major risk factors. 2 out of 3 US adults are overweight or obese. Okay, now, all you can eat, the environment, what you make, that's a problem. Okay, so, and you're going to exercise and you're taking the step, you don't take the step, you're taking the, you go to by the electronics, you're going to exercise. And here what the Surgeon General said many years ago, second leading preventable cause of death is attributed to dietary factors and physical inactivity. Second leading cause of death. So remember that. Now, we say that's very, very common, and I don't need to spend time on that. And that we presented some of the data which I was telling you about a few years ago, the European Society, 2 years, and we got the first prize about the epicardial fat around the heart, for that shows is a very, very significant risk factor. Now, don't be like that. We would like you to see better than this. I'm not going to talk about the benefits, so I will just tell you, because some of you don't get it. The obesity or the fat tissue is the largest endocrine organ in your body, the largest endocrine organ. It produces hormones which can increase the atherosclerosis and hormone which can diminish it. Under normal condition, there's a balance. But when you are obese, you get overproduction of these hormones, and that's what causing or contributing to hardening of the artery, this atherogenic hormone, which you see listed on the left for the physician here in the audience. Okay. Now, how to get from obesity to comorbidity, I'm not going to elaborate on that, but it just starts with the changes in the vessel, and you start getting high blood pressure, high blood sugar. This progress further down the road and cause hardening of the artery, and then finally you get stroke or heart attack, and that is from obesity to comorbidity to heart attack and stroke and death. So that is how the artery looks like with pictures. Now take this picture with you home. How much obesity with comorbidities? When you see obese patient, we have to think about what all other things, not just how you fat and lose weight and exercise. No, there's so many other things associated with that. They can, asthma can be secondary to that. GI problem can second to that. And musculoskeletal arthritis, snoring at night, heart irregularity, all this can be secondary. All what they need. Treat the obesity, most of these complications go away. But sometimes we don't think about that and we just proceed forward. That is the sequence of obesity. Just I'll leave it for a second here to take a mental image of it so that you remember you don't have your dinner tonight. What's the old ratio for obesity causing cardiovascular disease? The study have been done and have showed no question about it. Nobody can do that. How is the guideline? How to know? How to measure that? I told you before, but you don't even need to, that you can see them all over the place here. Now, the current guideline, I already told you initially about over 40-inch for a male, 35 for a female. But go look to the bottom here, what the International Diabetes Federation said, even 94 for a male and 80 for a female. So it's becoming now more and more down the road because we're finding that these numbers from the past still having a problem. Now, we talked about the West Circumference, and we say that I tell, when I give a lecture to the doctors, I tell them don't go with your stethoscope around your neck, go with the measurement tape about your neck to measure your patient's waist. That can be more informative. Okay, and we say that it's very important and where to measure that. Now, Dr. Cohn yesterday have talked, and I think, what is this new tools we are using now to assess the early structure and functional abnormality for anybody? It doesn't have to be obese. The way we are talking and evaluating risk factor in patient. We check for the vascularity. We check the pulse wave, the pulse elasticity, blood pressure before or after exercise, the carotid intima thickness, the eye background, and the abdomen for aneurysm. And we check after that, urine for microalbumin, and for the heart, we get a cardiogram, and we get a hormone called BNP and ECG. And this really protocol, which have 18 different tests, have shown to detect a lot of things. Of course, in real life, you cannot afford that. Not people can afford that. So we have cut it down to 4 tests, and they're giving us all the information we need for early detection. See the fatty heart to the left, healthy heart looking, and see how the fat ones around the heart. That produce a lot of hormones, and this hormone in direct contact with the heart muscle. It makes sense why fat around the heart is so bad. Okay, because it produces all these hormones, which goes in and create a heart. So obesity around the heart, you don't have to be obese. You can have a good normal belly, but you can have a lot of fat around your heart. Look at the Asian. The Asians have a lot of problems, but this is probably, and all of them are thin. And now I'm study coming out that the fat around the heart causes a problem along the line which we have been talking about. So that's some of the data we presented about this fat, and I don't need to bother you with that because I thought this is all studies which you presented around obesity and its problem, and then time will not allow us to talk about this. What's current management? The whole idea is to prevent or delay the diabetes, because that can happen, or pre-diabetes, and ultimately coronary artery disease. And where yesterday, those of you who was here, just to repeat again, lifestyle changes is the most important things for obesity. Most important thing, your lifestyle change. Look at like a globe. North for nutrition, cut your calorie. If you have high blood pressure, low salt, etc. East for exercise, exercise, exercise. Your best pill. South, stop smoking, spirit, stress, And I don't know, I told you yesterday, nobody laughed, maybe you laughed today, and safe sex. So that's for the lifestyle changes, okay? And to the west, weight reduction. Now, here it is, north for nutrition. Think about it all the time. What the lifestyle change you're talking about? If you think it this way, you'll remember it. You talk about the nutrition, talk about the exercise, the spirits, the weight reduction. So try to do all that for any disease you have. It's a good thing to keep in mind. Total or therapeutic lifestyle changes. Appetite is your worst enemy. You'll love to hear that again, maybe have a self-control. So like, see, they seeing the cat, they don't touch it. Also, when you see the food, don't eat it, okay? Eat, exercise, not exercise the dog, exercise yourself. Now, also make sure that you get to know because we say obesity often associated with diabetes, that is the measurement of blood sugar and hemoglobin A1C, that has to be below 6.5. Your blood pressure, that the B, that have to be according to the latest 120/80, and cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, have to be below 70 ideally. Okay, that is the latest recommendation for your ABC. If your doctor didn't tell you about it, next time you visit him, make sure you ask him that and make sure he doesn't bill you extra for this. Okay, we'll go to beside the lifestyle, said the pharmacologic treatment. There's recently, many of you don't take it serious, but it is good about metabolic surgery. The recent guidelines have shown that if your BMI over 30 and you have any other complicated condition, like most of the time are hypertension, diabetes, you will benefit greatly from this bariatric surgery. So bariatric surgery have advanced so much, so don't get scared that if you are obese, that don't consult on that. It is really well done these days and not as used to be in the past. That's the indication. They used to say before over 35, now over 30 BMI. That's for obesity treatment through surgery. Now, conclusion and take-home message on obesity and cardiometabolic syndrome. Early detect to protect, we talked about that enough. 1 ounce of early detection better than pounds of late cure. Obesity is still underdiagnosed as far structural factor changes, undertreated, even if no comorbidity, under control. So we need to do that. Unless obese patients change their lifestyle, existing cardiovascular and metabolic risk will worsen and the new risk factor will add. So take it seriously. If you have forget about everything we have taught you about here, obesity is really becoming a major, major problem for that. It's my sincere hope that global cardiovascular risk evaluation starts in every obese and non-obese subject become part of every routine screening program so that metabolic cardiovascular complications can be markedly reduced. And cardiologists, internists, family practitioners, BA, etc., are better fitted to screen and treat obesity and associated cardiovascular risk factors. Don't be like that. So see what happened to him when he spent 3 years in the United States. Okay? That after 3 years in the United States, we need back to Italy. Okay, so final departing. I told you that over and over. Early detection is very important, and that we have all of us to be healthcare preventive healthcare providers. That our children and grandchildren can grow up to enjoy the grandparents and parents. And this is my. To the left, my granddaughter, which was walking in and out here, they probably wonder who is she. That's my granddaughter. To the left, my grandson to the right. And I hope to live long enough to enjoy more of them in the future. Thank you very much.